An invitation to the land of ultimate bliss, ultimate concern and the final homecoming in the Amitābha Sutra. Prologue: the inescapable question, where lies the journey home? In this era of constant flux, we seem forever on the road. We chase wealth, only to find inner poverty. We build homes, yet often feel spiritually adrift. We crave connection, but sink into deeper loneliness. From ancient times to the present, the deepest recesses of the human heart have echoed with a fundamental inquiry: what is the true meaning of life? And when we reach the end of this life, where shall we return? This quest for an ultimate homecoming, like a navigation system deeply embedded in the soul, drives us to seek life's coordinates through philosophy, religion, and art. Today, let us approach a Buddhist scripture revered as the foremost sutra of the Pure Land, the Sutra of Amitābha Buddha. Unlike other profound philosophical treatises, this sutra does not delve into complex cosmology or engage in intricate logical dialectics. Like a wise and compassionate elder, it discards all abstract discourse and does one thing only. It paints a clear, majestic, and absolutely attainable destination. The Western land of ultimate bliss, for all souls drifting through the long night of birth and death, and it provides a path home that everyone can follow. Chapter 1: The Sutra's Outline, the compassion of a self-revealed teaching. The uniqueness of this sutra is evident from its very beginning. In most Buddhist texts, disciples raise questions, and the Buddha responds. The Amitābha Sutra, however, is spoken without being asked. This means that this Dharma door is so crucial, so sublime, and so urgently needed by sentient beings that the Buddha proactively expounded it, fearing that we might miss this supreme shortcut to liberation out of ignorance. He addressed it directly to Śāriputra, the foremost in wisdom. And this solemn entrustment highlights the profound weight this teaching carries in the Buddha's heart. The sutra structure is simple, yet each word is like a precious jewel, stringing together the complete chain of faith, vow, and practice. 1. Vivid depiction. Using metaphors of the world's most precious 7 jewels, most delightful music, and most majestic scenery, it meticulously describes the sublime environment and inhabitants of the land of ultimate bliss, the immeasurable light and life of its master, Amitābha Buddha. The assembly of great bodhisattvas like Avalokiteshvara and Mahastamaprapta, and the pure, wondrous joy of the land itself. 2. Clear method. It unambiguously points to the core method for rebirth in the land of ultimate bliss. Upholding the name, single-mindedly reciting the 6-character sacred name, Namo Amitābha Buddha. This method is supremely simple, distilling the vast Dharma into a single mindful recitation. 3. Testimony of all Buddhas. At the climax of the sutra, Sākyamuni Buddha proclaims that all countless Buddhas of the 10 directions, out of utmost sincerity, extend their broad, long tongues, employing their sublime tongue superknowledge, to attest to the absolute truth of this sutra. Such a collective endorsement by all Buddhas is exceptionally rare among the vast Buddhist canon. 4. Urging faith. With earnest compassion, the Buddha repeatedly exhorts and admonishes sentient beings: you should vow to be reborn in that land. He explicitly states that this sutra is the teaching difficult to believe in all worlds, precisely because its simplicity and sublimeness transcend ordinary thought patterns, requiring steadfast faith to accept. The entire narrative is like a loving father about to embark on a long journey, drawing a detailed and reliable map for his child left at home, repeatedly holding the child's hand and urging, remember this path. If you wish to return home, you will surely make it back. Chapter 2: The Land of Ultimate Bliss, a pure land of splendor beyond imagination. The land of ultimate bliss, Sanskrit Sukhavati, means the land filled with happiness. However, this happiness is not the conditional, fleeting sensory pleasures of our world but the ultimate peace, the joy of awakening, and the complete blossoming of life, a a state of suffering no pain, enjoying only bliss. To allow our limited minds to glimpse even a fraction of its reality. The Buddha employs metaphors of the world's most beautiful and precious things, offering a cross-dimensional description. 1. The absolute majesty of the environment. Ground. Not made of earth, sand, or stone but paved with 7 kinds of jewels: gold, silver, lapis lazuli, crystal, agate, ruby, and carnelian, wide, flat, and smooth as a palm, without mountains, valleys, thorns, or pits. Ponds. Pools of water endowed with 8 virtues fill ponds lined with the 7 jewels. The 8 virtues are clarity, coolness, sweetness, softness, moisture, tranquility, the ability to quench thirst and hunger, and the nourishment of all faculties. Gentle ripples grace the surface, where lotus flowers bloom, and the sounds of water and wind all expound the subtle Dharma. Structures. Pavilions and towers are not built by human hands but manifest naturally according to the merits and virtuous thoughts of beings. All are synthesized from the 7 jewels, majestically suspended in the air, radiant with brilliant light. Trees. Rows of 7 jeweled trees stand in orderly lines, their leaves, branches, flowers, and fruits intertwined with various jewels. When a breeze passes, the jeweled leaves touch one another, producing elegant sound surpassing heavenly music. Hearers naturally give rise to mindfulness of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Heavenly music. Celestial music constantly resounds in the sky, playing spontaneously without instruments, its harmony symbolizing the ultimate order and unity of that world. 2. The perfection of life. Absence of suffering. Complete transcendence of the 8 sufferings: birth, aging, sickness, death, separation from loved ones, association with the disliked, unfulfilled desires, and the skandha's turmoil. Natural provision of clothing and food. At the thought of clothing, clothing appears; at the thought of food, food appears. All necessities of life arrive as soon as they are wished for, eliminating the need to toil for survival. Supernatural freedom. Rebirth in that land endows one with inconceivable abilities, such as the superpower of locomotion, enabling travel to countless Buddha lands in the 10 directions in an instant, making offerings to all Buddhas, and hearing the Dharma for cultivation. Association with noble friends. No longer entangled with adverse conditions. One constantly befriends great bodhisattvas like Avalokiteshvara and Mahastamaprapta as supreme companions. Always able to draw near Amitābha Buddha and receive his teachings. These magnificent descriptions are not mythical fantasies but realities personally seen and verified by the Buddha with his unobstructed Buddha eye. Their core intent is this: all the environmental and inhabitant splendors of the land of ultimate bliss are pure manifestations of Amitābha Buddha's immeasurable compassion and wisdom-powered vows. Their fundamental purpose is to provide all practitioners with a perfect training ground and ultimate institution for swift enlightenment in one lifetime, a place utterly free from distractions, rich only in uplifting conditions. Chapter 3 Amitābha Buddha, the cosmic scale pledge of the 48 vows. The creator and sovereign of this perfect world is Amitābha Buddha. This name itself encapsulates his essence and original vows. A means without, Nida means measure, and Buddha means awakened. Together, they signify immeasurable light and immeasurable life, symbolizing wisdom light illuminating all directions without obstruction and compassionate life enduring eternally without end. The source of all this traces back to countless eons ago, to a practitioner named Dharmakara Bhikkhu, Amitābha Buddha's identity before enlightenment. In the presence of Buddha Lokasvaraja, he made 48 profound, vast, and magnificent vows. These great vows represent the most majestic and yet most meticulous ultimate pledge. issued by a being to the cosmic Dharma realm for the salvation of all sentient beings. Their content covers every detail of constructing the Pure Land, from the purity of the environment to the achievements of its inhabitants, leaving nothing unattended. The most central among them, known as the King of Vows, is the 18th vow, the vow of rebirth through mindfulness of the Buddha. This vow solemnly promises, if, when I attain Buddhahood, sentient beings of the 10 directions who sincerely and joyfully entrust themselves to me, desire to be born in my land, and even recite my name 10 times, are not born there, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. This means all sentient beings throughout the 10 directions, regardless of their capacity, good or evil, or the depth of their karmic obstructions, provided they possess the 3 conditions, sincere mind, genuine heart, and trusting joy, deep faith and ardent aspiration, and desire for rebirth, vow to be born in the Pure Land, and practice even 10 recitations of mindfulness of the Buddha, will unfailingly be received and reborn in the land of ultimate bliss through Amitābha Buddha's perfected vow power. This is a Dharma door centered entirely on other power salvation, pushing the Buddha's compassion to its ultimate expression. Thus, Amitābha Buddha's attainment of enlightenment is itself the perfect fulfillment of these 48 vows, especially the 18th vow. Precisely because he has already achieved supreme, perfect enlightenment, the land of ultimate bliss truly exists. And the great power to receive sentient beings operates ceaselessly throughout the Dharma realm. From this perspective, the practice of Buddha mindfulness is essentially not about swimming to the other shore with our meager strength, but about sending forth the call of faith and aspiration to board the cosmic scale vessel of compassion, named Amitābha's Great Vows, that has long been prepared for us. Chapter 4, The Method of Practice, the simplest yet most challenging, upholding the name. The method presented in the Amitābha Sutra is, among countless Dharma doors, so simple as to arouse doubt in the wise, yet so profound as to be difficult for ordinary beings to believe. Hearing the name of Amitābha Buddha, uphold it. These 8 characters constitute the most widespread and deeply rooted practice in Chinese Buddhism. 1. The deep meaning of upholding. It is far more than mere verbal repetition. Uphold means to grasp firmly and not let go. Maintain means to continue unceasingly. Together, they signify mindfully and continuously anchoring the mind to the Buddha's name, without interruption. It is about letting the 6-character sacred name, Namo Amitābha Buddha, gradually penetrate from an unfamiliar external sound to become the most familiar, intimate background melody in the heart, ultimately taking root in the depths of life and becoming the very subject of existence transcending birth and death. 2. Levels of practice. Practice based on phenomena. With absolute faith, believing that the land of ultimate bliss truly exists and Amitābha Buddha truly exists. Like a lost child deeply trusting a distant loving mother, one mindfully recites the Buddha's name, earnestly seeking rebirth. This is the entry point in practice for most practitioners. Practice based on principle. Building on the practice based on phenomena, one comprehends the profound meaning of the mind creating the Buddha, the mind being the Buddha. Realizing that the nature of the mind capable of reciting the Buddha's name is fundamentally non-dual with Amitābha Buddha himself. Reciting the Buddha's name is, therefore, mindfully awakening the immeasurable light and life inherently possessed by one's own nature. It is uncovering the tranquil light pure land within one's own mind. This is the path toward breakthrough. 3. Why it is the difficult to believe, easy to practice, Dharma. Easy to practice. It does not require profound philosophical understanding, rigorous asceticism, or renunciation. It does not discriminate between rich or poor, wise or foolish, lay or monastic. Easy to begin, high in achievement. It can be recited by opening the mouth, accessible to anyone with a mind, truly realizing the universality and equality of practice. Difficult to believe. It fundamentally challenges our entrenched mindset of self-power achievement and reward according to effort. To completely relinquish self-calculating and accept an unconditional salvation and gift from an absolute other requires immense humility of heart and total trustful surrender. This is precisely the profound reason the Buddha called it the difficult-to-believe Dharma. The difficulty lies in the complete transformation of faith. Chapter 5 Core Propositions: The Decisiveness of the Last Thought and the Revolutionary Concept of Rebirth with Karmic Hindrances. The Pure Land Dharma contains two core propositions that form its unique view of liberation and deeply resonate with modern life concerns. 1. The decisiveness of the last thought. Buddhist philosophy profoundly indicates that the mental and physical state at the moment of death, along with the strong karmic inclinations arising then, powerfully directs the destination of the next life like a magnet. The Amitābha Sutra emphasizes that usual practice with faith and vow plants firm, pure karma, seeds in the Aliyavijnana, storehouse consciousness. At the critical transition point of death, if one can, with the aid of wholesome conditions, maintain an undistorted mind, clear right mindfulness, and recollection of the Buddha, these pure karma seeds will ripen first. Resonating with Amitābha Buddha's great vow power in sympathetic response and mutual communion, instantly receiving the Buddha's reception. Like an arrow released from its bow, one is reborn in the Pure Land. 2. The compassion and revolution of rebirth with karmic hindrances. Distinct from most paths emphasizing only liberation after severing all afflictions, the Pure Land Dharma proposes a hopeful concept. Rebirth carrying karmic hindrances. Sentient beings need not cut off all roots of afflictive karmic hindrances in this very life. Extremely difficult for ordinary beings in the Dharma-ending age. With genuine faith and earnest vow, coupled with recitation of the Buddha's name, they can rely on Amitābha Buddha's inconceivable vow power to be reborn in the Pure Land while still carrying latent karmic seeds. Once entering the ultimate environment of the land of ultimate bliss, utterly pure with no evil, these karmic seeds, like seeds placed in a vacuum, lose the conditions necessary to sprout and grow. Under the nurturing influence of the Buddha's light and Dharma rain, they will naturally transform and dissipate. This offers incomparable hope and light to ordinary people struggling in the mire of afflictions. Chapter 6 Cultural Reverberations and Contemporary Significance. Since Master Huiyuan of the Eastern Jin Dynasty formed the White Lotus Society on Mount Wu, advocating mindfulness of the Buddha for rebirth in the Pure Land. The Buddha mindfulness practice represented by the Amitābha Sutra has deeply rooted itself in the soil of Chinese culture, becoming a mainstream of belief and practice in Chinese Buddhism. The common saying, in every household, Amitābha Buddha, in every home, Guanyin Bodhisattva, vividly reflects its pervasiveness. The 6-character sacred name, Namo Amitābha Buddha, has long transcended religious symbolism to become a cultural language for comforting the heart and expressing prayers. In contemporary society, pluralistic in values, rapid in pace, and permeated with existential anxiety, this ancient scripture offers unique and profound spiritual resources. Fundamental resolution of death anxiety. It directly addresses humanity's deepest fear, death and nothingness, providing a positive, luminous, and practicable vision of the hereafter. Transforming fear of the unknown into hope for a definite homecoming and peace in present life embodies a profound wisdom of living toward death. Ultimate manifestation of absolute equality. Before the gate to the land of ultimate bliss, all worldly labels, wealth, status, knowledge, appearance, lose meaning. The condition for rebirth lies in the mind of faith and vow, equal for everyone. This is a profound spiritual democracy and egalitarianism. Provision for mental settling in the information age. In an era of information explosion, scattered attention, and decision fatigue, the Buddha mindfulness method offers an extremely simple mental technique, gathering scattered thoughts and emotional turbulence into the simplicity of one Buddha recitation. This is an efficient mental focusing technique and emotional stabilizer, helping people reclaim inner tranquility and concentration amidst clamor. Philosophical response to life's ultimate concern. It directly confronts and answers the core philosophical question. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? It provides a limitless, meaning-saturated homecoming coordinate for finite life, satisfying humanity's intrinsic yearning for eternity and meaning. Epilogue: The Signpost Home. The Amitābha Sutra is not like a profound philosophical treatise requiring extensive annotation. It is more like a letter of peace from the eternal homeland. It tells us, there is a place whose beauty surpasses our most extravagant imagination. There is a compassionate Father whose vows exceed our deepest longing. There is a path whose simplicity surpasses our most rational designs. It does not condemn our present imperfections but, with boundless compassion, accepts all our fragility and scars, promising an ultimately perfect homecoming. It shifts the focus of liberation from relying solely on the difficult forging of self-power to beautifully balancing it with openness, trust, and surrender to the unconditional compassion of the absolute other. The ultimate revelation of this scripture might be summarized thus. The deepest wisdom is sometimes to comprehend and accept a love long prepared and unconditional. The longest journey is sometimes just to turn around and recognize the path, always lit, waiting for your return home. Thank you for listening to this introduction to the land of ultimate bliss and Amitabha's great vows. Whatever your background, may this portrayal of ultimate life peace and compassionate reception bring a moment of rest, profound reflection, and a warm, steadfast hope illuminating the night of impermanence to your busy worldly journey.